Ah, I see we have another fan of blowing square breaths. Also, this set uses actual Minecraft paper item textures on the wall here, while later, they use paper models specifically made for the video. Consistency. That joke's old anyway. Also, is that present on top wrapped with wallpaper? Or are the walls covered in wrapping paper? These two objects certainly seem to have the same texture. Whoa there! What just happened to the lighting? There was a huge spotlight illuminating the boarded up backroom entrance, but when Afton shifts position, it just disappears. These boards don't appear to be nailed to the wall, so it shouldn't require an axe to tear them down. Afton's leg is clipping into his torso, and his torso is clipping into his head. I'm just gonna go ahead and collectively sin clipping now, to get it over with. I'm guessing one of the animators just completely forgot to animate this scene, and only noticed right before the video was uploaded. They were probably like, let's just hope they'll think we're being artsy. All the bloom from the light coming out of the arcade cabinet disappeared. Springtrap's model moves back to the exact position he was in when the animatronics entered the room. With this model of Springtrap, Afton's face doesn't fill the whole head, when later in this video, it does. The model also seems to go through inconsistencies of whether or not his mouth is showing and how red his eyes are. There's a little bump in this otherwise smooth pan just as the camera goes through the doorway. Springtrap's head is still raised when it would realistically be flat on the floor. Because the limbs of the Springtrap suit aren't actually separated into segments on the model, like the other animatronics, and the jointed areas are instead a part of the model's skin, you get weird bends like this on Springtrap's elbow, where the joint is stretched into odd angles. Also, this is the only time in the video where they're like this. Springtrap's irises have a robotic design and act like camera lenses despite the fact that these are Afton's real eyes. I'm sorry, but have you ever seen eyes, people? When do irises shrink when somebody is spooked? Where did the oil barrels go? They were visible right in front of the purple arcade cabinet when we entered the room. Also, that's not even the right safety hazard sign for them. If you're gonna have exploding barrels in a children's establishment, at least label them properly. Who decided to build walls out of concrete powder and not concrete itself? I think I hear a job opening in the distance. That present is floating ever so slightly. These are supposed to be string lights, but since the lights are the same color as the walls behind them, they're practically invisible. Also, are these decorations? Wires? What's going on? Who decorated the set? I demand to know. Chica's top tuft of mechanical feathers glow here. Neat. This is something we missed in the previous Foxy song videos, but why doesn't Foxy have an exaggerated snout like his in-game model? He doesn't have a tiny snout there, and later in the video when you see them side by side, his head clashes with the designs of the other withered animatronics. The hook being so high on this model of Foxy implies that he lost his entire forearm, since this is where his elbow would fall. This ends up making his other arm look super long. Freddy's eyelid is slightly tilted for like the entire video, and I cannot stop looking at it. And now, neither can you. You're welcome. Made us cry, made us miss our fate. The animation on the withered animatronics suddenly becomes smooth, in contrast to the robotic and stiff animation style used previously. Did they just add some oil to their joints in between shots? Also, poor Bonnie's leg gets a bit warped as he enters the room. Also, only one of the wires on Bonnie's face is actually moving. It becomes really obvious in the next shot when it's just jiggling about. Not only that, the one wire that was moving looks like, well, this. This is supposed to be an oil spill on the floor, but it looks more like a plastic sheet, especially since the edges of the puddle are straight. The fire is burning everything but the oil from the barrels. Isn't that like the one thing that should be burning? You use our souls and took control, but now the animators are seemingly indecisive about whether to give the animatronics a robotic walk cycle, clunky and with hard stops, or a more human walk cycle. Yeah, it's great to have characters move smoothly through the screen, but it's better to have characters move in a way that makes sense in relation to their design. Ah, bendy robots.
Something's gotta give. What goes around?
Oh, hey, it's raining. That definitely wasn't visible in previous shots. The wires on Bonnie's arm are voxelized, while the wires on Chica's arm are smooth and dynamic. The cars in the background are built out of blocks, while the car directly in the shot after is a custom model. While it's true that in film and animation you can get away with undetailed scenery and props in the background, while hero props should be nicely detailed for close-ups, the background props shouldn't be so blocky that they look like they're a part of a different art style. Pick a theme. Another lazy car license plate. Just change it already. Also, there are like absolutely no cars on the road tonight. Perhaps this city is also under quarantine.
Goes around, comes around, round, round.
Wait, is this rain or sleet or maybe hail even? Last I checked, rain doesn't bounce like that.
Goes around, comes around, round, round.
Ah, yes. I do love hanging up completely blank posters in alleyways. Also, I'm pretty sure exposed wires and water aren't exactly a great combination.
Yeah, that karma, don't forget that you die.
For one frame, you can see the area lamp reflecting on Springtrap's face. Springtrap slides as he runs. Also, the way he runs is not great. Where is this light on the gang coming from? Springtrap is poorly lit, but Freddy and the bunch are all well exposed. Freddy had enough time to put his arms up, but then proceeds to just stand and watch Springtrap fall on him. Except, actually, he's not even really doing that either. I know Springtrap is already kind of defying the rules of how humans work, but his elbow definitely just bent the wrong way. Chica snaps around as she goes to attack Springtrap. How would jabbing an ear into a robot do anything? Robots can't feel. Where'd these dumpsters come from? They weren't in any prior shots. Yet another bright shine. Shine on, you crazy diamond, Springtrap. There's hardly any proper anticipation for that kind of jump. We're already disregarding he's literally doing this as a zombie in a clunky robot suit. Maybe the bunny suit gives him bunny powers.
The time is now.
This rain looks more like underwater lighting. Are these robots unconscious? Last time I checked, robots cannot be knocked out. Everyone's feet are floating off the ground.
For us to walk together.
I know the toy animatronics are supposed to be plastic and shiny, but with the overdone specular texture, the side of Freddy's head goes almost completely white for a couple frames here. How come Toy Freddy and Bonnie have jointed arms, but Toy Chica doesn't? Bonnie's bow tie and Toy Freddy's bow tie are very different. One is voxelized, and the other is smooth.
Together.
Chica has a strange texture on the back of her arm, like she used to have these jointed arms. For some reason, Bonnie's arms bend on his joints, while Freddy's don't.
You brought upon your
Withered Freddy is missing his bow tie for the entire video. I know they're technically robots, but Freddy's movements were very linear right there.
no hide and seek.
This door weirdly bugs out here.
'Cause the shadows get no shelter.
This room didn't have filing cabinets in the last video. You can see in the corner of the room that there's definitely no filing cabinets. Not only is the light not properly reflecting on all of these tiles, but the reflection is also circular. When in an upcoming shot where the camera is placed in the drawer, we see that the light itself is actually a tube-shaped fluorescent light.
It's time to
I wish I had the ability to grab things with my fists. Freddy freezes for several frames before the shot changes.
face the rage behind the mask.
Hey, Bonnie, your ear's back. Good to see you got it all fixed. Oh, never mind. It disappeared again. This is not unrolling. This is paper disappearing into thin air.
Ask that you yourself create.
These are the worst blueprints known to man. Not even multiple views of what you've got to build, or any indication of what scale the blueprint is drawn to. Come on. Wait. Now his ear is fixed again? Who keeps fixing and breaking his ears? I love when I hit my metal hammer against metal ribs, and it sparks. Yep. The lighting doesn't seem to know how to exist properly on this metal. The edges of the pixels experience a lighting bug for a frame here. Foxy's head is already on the amalgamation even though he hasn't been taken apart yet. You can see his distinct ear shadow on the wall when it rises, but in the exact next shot is Foxy all still put together.
We are outcasts now and you're the...
Again with the glowing faces! What is up with this new trend in Five Nights at Freddy's animation? Please stop. It doesn't look good. Springtrap very slightly slides backwards after every step. Obvious edge of the map is obvious. You almost avoided it by placing Springtrap in a more covered up part of the map, but it's still pretty visible.
See you on...
Firstly, this reflection is impossible based on the way the camera is angled. And secondly, you can see the shadow of the fake Springtrap head used for this reflection casting on the floor.
Scream in the night, our hearts...
If it really rained that much, why aren't there more puddles? How come only the middle puddle reacts?
Broken, lost, forever bound.
Not only do all the animatronics have glowing red eyes suddenly for nothing more than spooky factor, but their heads are all the same height, when soon we'll see that they very much are not all the same height. Also, Withered Bonnie's eyes are the same size as everyone else's, even though in the next shot they are a lot smaller. Had the lighting been better, we'd actually have a better understanding of what's going on here. Instead, we more or less have to guess based on silhouettes and the objects that get focused on.
Yeah, that karma, don't forget that you'll die.
The hook swings downward in this shot, however, in the next shot, it's swinging upwards. You can't see it very well here, but Springtrap's ears are still connected to Afton's head despite the fact that they should be the animatronic head, and not in his skull. Suddenly, Afton no longer knows how to walk after being hit on the head a little too hard. And there Springtrap goes, right into the void, never to be seen again.
You know what they say about 30 lives. Yeah, that karma, don't forget that you'll die.
If the lighting been literally any better in this scene, we might be able to see what's going on. But no. No being able to see allowed. Despite the fact that the animatronics did a downward slashing movement, the knife lands in Afton as if they had done a forward, if not angled, jabbing motion. There should be a cut on the suit going down to implicate this better. This ghost model includes what I can only imagine is supposed to be hair, but instead it just looks like a strange block covering his eye. This camera jump would have been better replaced with a camera pan, especially after seeing the sequence at the beginning of this video. I like how the animatronics just decide their souls are at rest, instead of it just happening. The motion blur around the ghosts get really messed up here. RSMB can only handle so much. Wait. You're meaning to tell me this dude is wearing glasses up to heaven? Does this sight not become fixed when he's a ghost? You'd assume that your soul would be a flawless version of yourself, but I guess not. Maybe he can ask God for some context when he gets up there. Also, this is the only kid without hair. So he gets to keep his glasses, but not his hair? God must be in a joking mood today. In conclusion, this video was very well put together. The story was clear from beginning to end, the face is well animated, and the scenes well put together. The lighting and effects could use a little work, but it's still a good watch. My name's Ted, welcome to the Outback. Here in the wild you can see a Springtrap with an area lamp reflecting on his face.
Make you one of us. Congratulations are deserved.
Down that path into darkness deep as